All right, in this video, we're going to talk about creating an inventor model of inventor exercise number 4, which we call the roller rest bracket. All right, so let's look at our sketch right here and get an idea of, what we're going to be doing with this thing. The way I look at this, the base view that we're going to do is going to be this piece right here that extends all the way out. So we're going to set a base, and then we're going to build this part, this shape here on top of that and attach it to it. We'll build this shape and attach it from there, and then we will add these holes and we'll add a fillet right in here. There's another fillet over here, and there's a note that says 2 times R.375. So this must be one of our fillets, and this must be our other fillet is down in here. Of course, we have a counterbore hole here that has a diameter of 0.625. That's the smaller hole that goes through. A counterbore with a diameter of 1.125, that's the larger hole. The depth of the counterbore is 0.25. All right, so we're going to start by drawing the base, and the base is 4.75 wide, and the total height of the base is 0.25 plus 0.5, so that would make the total 7.75. All right, so let's pull this out of the way, and we're going to start a new inventor drawing. And like we always start when we begin a new inventor drawing, we turn on our origin, and we choose project geometry, and we choose the YZ plane, and we choose to project the XZ plane. And as always, it's just going to leave behind the line that intersects with our XY plane. So we have our 2 green lines now. If you want to go down to center point, first you need to press escape a couple of times and then right click on center point and choose visibility. Now at that point we can go to our front view, which puts us normal to the XY plane. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a line that is the length of the entire object. So I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to type 4.75 and press enter, and then scroll out to see where that landed. Next, I'm going to go straight down, making sure that it's perpendicular is showing, and go 0.5 and press enter. I'm going to go in this direction right here and go 2.25 and press enter. And then I'm going to go straight down 0.25, press enter. And then I just want to go straight across, and I want to be in line with the endpoint right here. And so when I get over there, you'll see there's a little drop down, like a sort of like a what do you call that? The tracking point, polar tracking that you get in AutoCAD. All right, so I'm going to finish that. So hopefully it's all a closed, shape that I can extrude. Now, one of the things I can do is go ahead and do a collinear constraint and pick on this edge right here, and then pick there. And I can pick on this shape here and pick to there, make that collinear with that. And I believe everything is all lined up the way I would like it to be now. I think everything is pretty much perpendicular, parallel. I'm going to drag my dimensions out a little bit. And so I believe we're good to go ahead and finish the sketch and extrude this. So the extrusion for that is going to be 2, and we can pick OK. And the next thing that I would do is cut out the piece that's right over here in this area. And if we go back, we drag this over. So there's, starting right here, there's a cutout. And so we can determine the length of the cutout based on what these dimensions are here. If we subtract those from 4.75, excuse me. And then also we can figure out the depth in here based on that this plane here and this plane are coplanar. So it's going to go in 0.75, and then we just have to determine what this length is. Now you could actually, to get that length right there, when you're drawing the rectangle, you could type in 4.75 minus, and then parentheses, 0.625 plus 2.25, close parentheses, and that would give you that. So let's get started with that one. We're going to start a new sketch. So we pick here, and then we pick on this icon. And what we want to draw is a rectangle. And so we're going to pick right here. And the length of the rectangle, as I said, is going to be 4.75 minus, and then I'm going to put a parentheses in because I want to add these two things together inside the parentheses, 0.625 plus 2.25, close parentheses, and that should work for that. And then, so what I need to do is, since it went in there with that, I need to give it, oh, it didn't take that for some reason. Well, fortunately, I realized that that is all adds up to 1.875. I needed to press enter, I think, that last time on that. So I'm going to press enter right there. Now, the thing is that it doesn't know how wide. It didn't ask me for that, so I do need to put a dimension in right here. And the depth of that, I believe we said, is 0.75. And press enter. And at that point, we can either finish sketch or just type E and go directly into the extrude command. And obviously, we want to do a flipped because we want to cut that. And so the depth really doesn't matter as long as it goes all the way through, and then we just pick OK. And there's that guy notched out. All right. So the next thing we're going to be adding to this, let me drag this over, is going to be this shape right up here. The total height of that is 2.5. And it sits, though, on a piece that's already 0.75 high. The distance across here is 1.25. And then we actually define the rest of it with a 60-degree angle until that angle comes down and intersects with this, and then it goes back and drops down. So that's kind of the shape we're going to draw. And then we'll add the fillet to this thing later. We're not going to add the fillet in the sketch. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I want to start a new sketch on that plane right there. Okay, so I can start a line at this corner if I want, and I can go straight up. And what's the distance of that? Well, that's going to be 2.5, which is the overall height. 2.5 minus 0.75, and press enter. All right. Now, the distance across here should be 1.25. I'm going to press enter. And then what I want to do is just come down here and land on this line somewhere. It doesn't really matter where. And then I'm just going to go back to my endpoint here, and I may have to draw a line to get there. So hopefully I've got that in there. What I need to do is add that 60-degree dimension in here. So you pick on dimension, you pick the top line, you pick on this line, and then you're going to come out here and you're going to type 60 and press enter. And that, you can see that it pulled that back just a little bit. And we can finish the sketch, and we can extrude. Let's see if we can get to extrude. Here we go. Obviously, we're going to go in that direction right there. And according to the sketch, the depth of that extrusion is 0.75. And then we can pick OK. All right, so you can see how we're getting this guy put together. And so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle on this surface and extrude it in this direction right here. And so the size of that is going to be 1.25 high plus 0.375, because there's a radius on that. Let me drag this over. So we have 1.25 gets us to right here. Then we have a radius of 0.375, which means the distance from the center to the top right here is an additional 0.375. So we're going to add those two together. The width of this is 0.625, and the extrusion height is going to be 0.75. So I'm going to pick on this plane and start a new sketch. I'll go to rectangle. I want to start at that corner right there, and I want to type 0.625 tab, and then for my height I need to type 1.125 plus 0.375 and press enter, and that should give me that. So I'm going to finish my sketch and go to extrude. And remember, you don't have to finish the sketch. You can just type E and go directly into that. So I want my extrusion distance to be 0.75, and so that is already there, and that would make this plane here and this plane collinear. So I'm going to pick OK on that. All right, the next thing I want to do is add the fillets, and both of those fillets, it says 2 times R.375. So I see that fillet there, and the only other fillet I see is right down in here. So I'm going to go to my fillet command, and right here where it says select edges, and right next to that, that's my radius. I'm going to type 0.375, and then I'm going to pick on select edges, and I'm going to come right here and pick on that line right there at the corner where this inclined plane meets that plane, and do that. And then I'm going to go pick on this line right here, which is going to fillet that, and pick OK. Now the good thing about that, when I go to put my hole in here, which is a 0.312 hole, it's going to be at the center point for this fillet right there. So let's just go to the hole command and pick right in here. And let's see if we can get this guy to just snap to, yeah, okay. So I just picked on that arc, and now what I need to do is, and so that centered it on the center point for that arc. And then I need to come in here and change this to 0.312 for my diameter. It's a simple hole and it goes all the way through. So I'm going to pick OK. Now I need to place another hole here on this plane, and the diameter for this hole is 0.433 according to the sketch. I'm sorry, 438 according to the sketch. And the location of that hole from the top edge right here, I pick at the top edge and type 0.5. Remember, do not press enter at this point, and then from this back edge right here, 0.688. And that moves that, and everything looks good, and I just want to pick OK. I don't want to press enter. I just want to, simple hole going all the way through all, pick OK. All right, so the last hole we need to put in here is going to be on this surface right there. So we pick on the hole command and just get in there and, the approximate location of where that counterbore hole goes. Now, let me drag this over. This counterbore hole, diameter 0.625, smaller hole, diameter 1.125, larger counterbore to a depth of 0.25. So I want to define all of that over here. So I'm going to pick on counterbore, and at that point's where I want to go in and change all these dimensions. So that's going to be 0.625 right there. The counterbore diameter is going to be 1.125. and the depth should be 0.25. So mine was already saying it was 0.25. I don't know what yours might say, but so we've got a simple hole through all, but it has a counterbore seat on it. And the diameters of everything, 0.625 for the through hole, 1.125 for the diameter of the counterbore, and then 0.25 for the depth, and choose OK. All right, and at that point, our roller rest bracket is modeled. So it's really simple to do, but it's kind of a fun project. Now, I want to show you something though, I'll play with this for just a second longer. And let's do a plane where we do offset from a plane, and we choose right here, we go in this direction right here, and let's just go 3 inches and pick OK. And then let's start a new sketch on that. And let's go back to the home view. I want to show what you can do. You see project geometry up here? When you pick on project geometry, if you pick a line in the background or a feature in the background, you can actually project those features to a sketch in the foreground. All right. And that's kind of a cool thing that you can do. Come on, let's see if we can get it. It's going to go in the background there. So you can see that I'm projecting everything up, and that geometry becomes extrudable, if that's actually a word. But the point is that you can put planes offset from something, and you can use the geometry in the background to project out to a plane. We'll talk more about this, but we can actually do some stuff with this. And just to give you an example, if I do an extrude, and let's say I choose that hole right there, I can go back in this direction, and I could say to next. So next is the option I have here. And what it should do is extrude back and hit right there. So I'm going to pick OK and see if it builds it. It tells me for some reason it can't do that. I don't know if it's because that guy's hitting in a hole and it's not really finding any geometry there. But let's see if we can do a different extrusion with this. Let's for our profile, let's escape on the profile, do an extrude. Let's choose that, and let's go back in the opposite direction to next. Okay, you see how that's doing? It's projecting all the way back until it sees the next plane that it hits. Okay, so that's just an example of how you can create geometry on a sketch plane or a work plane out here in space, and then project it back to your part. And sometimes that's something that we'll need to do. Of course, we don't need to do it on this. And so I'm going to delete this work plane out. I don't need that work plane at all. So I'm going to pick OK, yes, and get rid of that. So what I'd want to do is go do a file, save as, and save this as roller rest bracket. And there is a help sheet in Blackboard that has all the dimensions and everything you need to draw this guy. But yeah, we want to save it where we saved everything else. And then the next thing we're going to do with this is the next class, we're going to actually open up a sheet of paper, virtual paper, not real paper, and that has a border and a title block on it. And we're going to put in all four of the objects that we've created up to this point. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording right here.